Good evening, guys. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. All right, so today we are going to talk about types of sentences. All right, but before we start with the topic, let's talk about your understanding of sentences. We have had a couple of discussions on this, right? So let's talk about defining a sentence. How would you define a sentence? Money.
Ma'am, sentence would be a group of words, you could say, that makes sense or they
Right.
define any action.
Right. Okay. Great. Ashna?
A sentence is something, a group of words basically telling us something, like it may be in a form of command or question or just an answer.
Right. Okay. So there are various types of sentences and they can have different intended meanings. All right.
Yes, ma'am.
Adya?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. What if you had to define sentences, how would you do it?
So, ma'am, it is a combination of words, like different kinds of words, um, and it has a purpose.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So the combination of words that has a purpose, that has a meaning, maybe that it wants to signify. Okay. All right. So more or less very similar definitions you all have given, and good. They are pretty accurate. Okay. We can talk about sentences as a group of words that make sense, yes, that have a definite meaning, that have a definite intention behind them, and that they convey proper syntactic ideas. Yes. Now, let's talk about types of sentences. Now, when I say types of sentences, of course, like Ashna's definition had some hints to it that, okay, yes, there are various kinds of sentences that have to be made. Okay. But now, this topic is basically for you to understand the nuances of grammar. Okay. Now, when we talk about sentences, we are somewhere focusing on structure. Yes. So there are basically two sort of bifurcations that happen when we have to study types of sentences. Okay. One happens to be structural. Okay. So we divide type of sentence structurally. And then we have semantic differences. Now, what do you understand by semantics? Have you heard this term?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Basically, semantically means like the meaning, focusing on the meaning.
Right. Focusing on the meaning. Correct.
Yeah.
So, how do we bifurcate our sentences? We study sentences in two different ways. Okay. And basically, we just have to understand how these things go hand in hand, how structure and meaning is going to go hand in hand. All right. And that is how you ultimately derive at what kind of sentence is being formed. Okay. So we are going to understand these two different bifurcations of types of sentences. So next time, whenever you are reading, let's say an RC, or you're reading any particular statement that is written, try to bifurcate these sentences into these two types. See if you're able to locate, and identify different components or not. Okay. First, let's talk about structural differences. Yes. Now, what do you understand by structure, Priyanka? Can you people see the screen?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Great. Okay. Now you all can see I have written down some statements. Yes, there are some random sentences in front of you. And now let's focus on the first three. You can see I've written the first three and then there are others. So let's focus on the first three. Now, what are your observations? What are you able to point out? And I have done some homework for you. I've underlined certain things. I've italicized. I've kept a word in bold. I have done both things with some things. So what have I highlighted? What things have I highlighted? Kushi? Kushi, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Just look at the first three sentences. Can you
It is a
highlight certain
statement.
components? Okay, Priyanka, it's a statement, that's fine. I'm asking the things that I've highlighted, I've italicized, I've underlined, I've kept in bold. Can you identify these various components? Yes, Adya, you unmuted your mic.
Ma'am, connecting words.
Yes, connecting words, very good. What else? Are all of them connecting words?
No.
No.
So what are other things? Himani, want to give it a try? Okay. All right. See, very frankly, let's take a look at these statements. I was expecting some answers here. Your silence has sort of scared me. Okay. Let's look at the very first sentence. See, what is happening in all of these three is that structurally, all three of them are different. They are built up of different components. All right. So what you're looking at is basically three different types of sentences. Okay. And this is the structural differentiation between these statements. Okay.
Ma'am, this is a declarative statement.
Yeah.
Ma'am, it is a declarative.
You're not audible, dear.
She's saying that narrative statement.
Okay. Okay. ठीक है, narrative भी ठीक है. Let's look at the very first statement. So I've underlined political science and the rest is in italics. Can we say that political science is the subject here and the rest is predicate?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So we have a sentence where we have a very straightforward subject and then the rest is a predicate. Yes, one subject and predicate. Okay. These are known as simple sentences. Okay. Any statement with just one subject and the rest being the predicate is known as a simple sentence. You just have one subject and you have a predicate going along with it. That makes up for your rest of the sentence. You have an SVO agreement and that's it. This is known as a simple sentence. All right. Let's focus on the other one. See, this topic is pretty short, so it will be done very quickly. All we have to do is we should be able to just bifurcate and understand and spot the different components. Okay. Let's look at the next statement. Okay. Adya, will you please read out the second sentence?
I went to her home multiple times, but I was unable to meet her.
Right. Now here, can you try and decipher different components?
Ma'am,
Yes, Angel.
oh, can you please tell me what is going on as I joined late?
Okay. Okay. I like this question. Ma'am, can you please tell me what is going on? I end up feeling like, okay. Now, see, we have started off with types of sentences. Okay. We are talking about that. When we come to types of sentences, there are two different types of sentences or like the two bifurcations that we are studying. One is structurally how sentences can be created in different ways. Okay. So the structural differences, okay, structurally how there are different types of sentences. That is what we are studying right now. Next is going to be the semantic differentiation between sentences, and that is what we are going to study. Is it clear?
Yes,
So we have just started out The very first three that here we are studying the structural difference between sentences. What are the various types of sentences that can exist? The very first we studied is a simple sentence. What happens in a simple sentence? There is going to be one subject and the rest is going to be a predicate. That is why it is known as a simple sentence. Clear, Angel?
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Now we move on to the next one. We are talking about the second one. So Adya, you had some time to think. Can you highlight certain features of this sentence?
So, ma'am, here the sentence is divided into two parts. Like there is a
Hmm.
conjunction in between the two
Right.
parts. So, like I don't know the name. Like
Okay.
what is
Okay.
the name
All
or
right.
to be?
Take it. So
Yeah.
in this sentence, she pointed out that there are two parts to this sentence. All right. And it is joined by a conjunction. Now, if you look very closely at it, can I say that there are two main clauses in this sentence? क्या इस सेंटेंस में दो इंडिपेंडेंट क्लॉजेस साथ में आ रहे हैं?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, that's a very faint yes. Others, what are independent clauses? We go back to clauses. See, independent clauses क्या होते हैं? आशना,
Mama, I don't remember.
people don't remember. क्या इन्हें सब दोबारा पढ़ाना पड़ेगा? See, independent clauses are what? Independent clauses are basically
Complete
what is a
sentences.
clause? What is a clause? A clause is a sentence that has a subject and a verb and an object. Yes, subject verb agreement होता है, उसको हम clause कहते हैं. ठीक? And what is an independent clause? An independent clause is basically every sentence turns out to be an independent clause.
Complete sentence.
Yes, because it is a complete sentence. It does not require anything else. It does
Yes,
not
ma'am.
depend on any other part of a sentence to complete its meaning. So that is known as an independent clause. For example, here, I went to her home multiple times and I'm repeating clauses for the third time. So everybody please pay attention. I went to her home multiple times and I was unable to meet her. Can we say that you could use both of these sentences independently?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, we can use them independently. We do not require anything else here.
Yes,
But
ma'am.
then we added on a conjunction and we joined these two. Yes. So this is the second bifurcation. Okay, this is the second type of sentence when we are talking about structural differences. First, simple sentences. Next is this, which is known as complex sentences. What are complex sentences? In such kind of sentences, two or more independent clauses come in together. Okay, two or more independent clauses coming in together. That means if you remove the conjunction, the adverbial conjunctions, if you remove any connectors that there are, and you look at those clauses independently, they could be used. But then they are all well knit together in one particular statement. Yes. So this kind of a sentence qualifies for a complex sentence. Understood, everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. All right. Now we come to the third sentence. What is happening in the third sentence? Khushi, would you like to give a try?
Ma'am, it is a verb.
Hmm?
Ma'am, soon is a verb.
No. Okay, Ashna, go ahead.
Ma'am, one clause is dependent and the other is independent.
Yes, very good. So what is happening in this particular statement? We have just one main clause. Okay, just one independent clause, and the other one is a dependent clause. So what happens? This is the third type of sentence, compound sentence. What happens in a compound sentence? You have one main clause, and then there are maybe one or more subordinating clauses or dependent clauses that will come in together. Why is as soon as the meeting began qualifying as a dependent clause?
Ma'am, because that sentence individually doesn't make any sense. It is incomplete.
Yes, correct. Because it does not make any sense independently. It is giving partial meaning, and to completely make sense, it requires a main clause to stand. Yes. So these are the three types of structural sentences that you will come across. And see, this is just a prototype. These are very small sentences. If you look at the very big statements and sentences that we have been tackling in, let's say, parajumbles or RCs, what is happening? This is what happens. Either sentences are simple or they'll be complex. What is happening in complex statements? There multiple main clauses are coming in together. Yes, they are joined by coordinating conjunctions when you have a long statement in front of you. But two or more main clauses can be there in the statement. And then comes in compound statements. What do compound statements do? Compound statements consist of just one main clause. And what is a main clause? Again, a main clause is an independently functioning sentence. Yes. So we have one main clause, and then there could be one or more subordinating clauses or subordinating, you know, additions to the sentence. Yeah. Yes. So structurally, these are the three ways in which your statements will be made or sentences are bifurcated. This is the structural bifurcation of types. Okay. Next, we move on to the semantic difference. Now, what do we understand by semantic difference? Now, one of you said early on that we are dealing with meaning. Yes. So now when we talk about the fact that are you creating a negative statement, are you creating a interrogative statement, are you creating a
Imperative.
declaratory statement or whatever it is. So all of these are what? These are semantic differentiations of sentences. That means they are driven by the concept of what is the intended meaning. वहां पर structure से ज़्यादा meaning का importance हो जाता है. Yes. So now let's take a look at these five. Himani, can you please read out the five statements that are there?
Yes, ma'am. Bhopal is the capital of Madhya Pradesh. Get me a cup of tea, please. Let's start at once. Can I help you? What a tragedy. They don't understand our problems.
All right. Very basic statements. Yes, very basic sentences. Let's look at the first one. Bhopal is the capital of Madhya Pradesh. It's a factual statement. Yes, it is something assertive. Yes, or basically something that is being declared. So any fact, okay, anything that we say, the sun rises in the east and sets in the west, and all of these statements. So the very first type of statements are assertive statements or declaration or declarative statements. These are usually statements that are stating facts, that are speaking truth, that are using historical narration. Basically, whenever you are stating some fact, you are creating a declarative statement or an assertive statement. Yes. Next one. Get me a cup of tea, please, or let's start at once. What is happening here? Priyanka?
Ma'am, a request is being made.
A request has been made. Very good. And let's start at once.
Order.
It's an order, correct? Yes, Priyanka, you want to say something?
Yes, ma'am. Let us start the order.
Okay, yes. Request and order. So next type is usually a request or an order. These are known as imperative statements or imperative sentences. Yes.
Ma'am, third and fourth interrogative.
Third is interrogative.
And ma'am, fourth
Fourth में क्या हो रहा है?
Exclamatory.
exclamatory.
Yes, very good. Fourth is an exclamatory statement. And what is an exclamatory statement? The moment you are using exclamations when you're just shocked or you're expressing surprise or you're expressing some intense emotion suddenly, that will be known as an exclamatory sentence. Yes, Priyanka, वहाँ पे question नहीं है, वो expression है. What a tragedy. अरे ये
Yes,
क्या
ma'am.
हो
मैंने
गया?
देखा ही नहीं मैम
Yeah.
exclamatory sign.
Yes. Okay. So exclamatory. Last one. They don't understand our problems. क्या हो रहा है यहाँ पे?
In last sentence,
Hmm?
ma'am, last वाले sentence में पूछ रहे हो.
Last वाला. They don't understand our problems.
Ma'am, it's declarative.
Ma'am, it's complex.
Complex तो हो गया बेटा, वो खत्म हो गया. ऊपर वाले जो तीन थे वो अलग bifurcation है, वो structural difference है.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, I think it's declarative.
Okay. Chalo, I'll say two sentences and you people tell me what is the difference between them. Okay. I hate her. I do not like her. Or I loathe English. I do not like to study English. They are somewhere expressing the same meaning.
Yes, ma'am.
But then what is the difference?
Usage of words.
Usage of words, correct? What is happening? One sentence is employing negative words. No, do not, okay?
Ma'am,
None.
first is imperative.
No. First will be declarative. I loathe English. I loathe studying English. Yes, it's an assertive sentence. On the other hand, this next one, I do not like to study English. Here, what happened? You ended up using a negation. Yes, so it's a negative sentence. So understood what are negative sentences? Negative sentence ये नहीं होगा I hate the world. It will be a positive, affirmative statement. It's a declarative statement because you're not using negations. On the other hand, the moment you say, yeah, I do not like this world and I do not like the people in this world, what happened? You ended up using a negation that is not, and that is why that statement classifies as a negative statement. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Why would you not go to a party? Again, a negative question. So it ends up being a negative sentence. Yes? So structurally different समझ में आया? When we are talking about structure, we are talking about how subject verb agreement is playing. Are there multiple main clauses in the sentence? Are there dependent clauses and just one main clause? This is what we mean when we say structure. On the other hand, semantically, there are various kinds of sentences that can exist, from an affirmation or an assertive statement to a request or an order to a question to an exclamation to a negative statement. Is the bifurcation between all the types of sentences clear? The first three, that is simple, complex, and compound, are examples of structurally different types of sentences. Yes. And the next five are semantically different types of sentences. Are the two concepts clear? Structure and semantics?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Great. Now we are going to do this very quick exercise where you people will, I'll call your name, you'll look at the sentence, you'll tell me what kind of sentence it is. And I'm not going to do the semantic differentiation because that is very easy. You all know it. We're going to focus on the structural differences. Okay. That is simple, complex, and compound. Are you people clear with that concept? Or do you want to revise it once very quickly?
Ma'am, revise.
Okay. Let's talk about simple sentences. Simple sentences में क्या होगा? The trademark of a simple sentence is one subject and the rest is predicate.
Yes.
Okay? Subject predicate statements. These are simple sentences. Next, complex sentences. What are complex sentences? Two main clauses are there. Okay, two or more main clauses can also be there, but then they are joined by a coordinating conjunction. They are made up of independent clauses. Yes. Then last one, that is a compound sentence. It is going to have just one main clause, and the rest of it, whatever the addition is, it is going to be a subordinating clause. Okay, or a dependent clause. Clear, everyone? Simple, complex, and compound. Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, very quickly, let's start solving. Okay. Let's start with. Okay, let's start alphabetically only. That will be good. Ashna, you're first to go.
Complex sentence.
The first one.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I think it's complex sentence.
Why
Ma'am,
complex?
it's compound.
It's
Ma'am, because
compound. हाँ, complex क्यों लगा?
there are two different clauses. The son went to play, so the father started working.
The father started working. It looks okay, but then ultimately it's dependent. So आ रहा है बीच में. The sentences have to be such कि अगर तुम बीच का coordinating conjunction हटा दो तो अपने आप में they are independent. The father started working looks as if it's correct, but then it's not. वो semantically ठीक है कि वो sense दे रहा है, but structurally it is incomplete. Okay, it is compound. Because the entire dependent clause is going to be so the father started working. Okay. मेन क्लॉज कब हो जाता है? जब उसके आगे लगा हुआ कंजंक्शन उसके साथ में हो या ना हो, it does not make any difference. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
All right. We come to the next one. Vani.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, this would be complex
Yes. Why?
because he lost his money and he did not lose his passions. Are both independent.
Independent clauses. Yes. Very good. Next one. Adya.
Ma'am, simple sentence, like simple.
Yes. Roses are beautiful flowers. There is one subject and the rest is qualifying as a predicate. Yes. Priyanka. Next one.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, it's compound.
Why compound?
I'm sorry, simple sentence.
Simple sentence. Why simple? Explain करना पड़ेगा.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, one is a subject and second is a predicate.
क्या होगा?
Ma'am, one is a subject and second sentence is predicate.
ठीक है. Subject क्या है?
Ma'am, we.
सिर्फ we होगा subject.
Yes, ma'am.
Anybody else?
Ma'am, I think it will be a compound sentence.
Why a compound sentence?
Ma'am, because for a coordinating conjunction is used, and if we remove for, the sentences don't make sense independently.
अगर for हट जाता है तो क्या lack of food is creating a dependent clause? Is lack of food a clause? Lack of food phrase है, clause नहीं है. Adya, would you like to give it an attempt?
Like which one is a subject and which one is a predicate? So this one only, like we stopped by the roadside.
Is the subject.
Yeah, and then the second part, lack of.
And the second part is the predicate.
food,
Always remember
is a
guys, subject सिर्फ जरूरी नहीं है I, me, you, we करके हो. आपके sentence का मुद्दा क्या है? The issue of your sentence, why the sentence is being created. That is your subject. ठीक है? I guess last class में हम कौन सा solve कर रहे थे question that was about China's tea production. Yes. In that question also, I discussed this thing that the subject of a sentence necessarily is never going to be just one thing. It could be whatever that main issue is. For example, in that sentence, it was about China's tea production, right? So here your subject is going to be we stopped by the roadside, and for lack of food qualifies as your predicate. Also, please remember, compound में of course हम थोड़ा सा confuse हो जाते हैं. Subordinating clause क्या होता है again बेटा? Subordinating clause में you are putting in a coordinating conjunction, but then subordinating clause का ये मतलब है कि वो clause भी होगा कहीं ना कहीं अपने आप में, बस वो independently survive नहीं कर सकता है. It requires a conjunctive conjunctive adverb या coordinating conjunction to be there so that it can make sense. Okay. So lack of food is not a clause. Lack of food is a phrase. Clear हुआ?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. We move on. Next will be Himani.
Yes, ma'am.
Fifth.
The sun rose and the sky got clear. I think it's a compound sentence.
How?
Ma'am, there is one independent clause and one dependent clause. The sky got cleared and it is interconnected to the sun rose. It is
Yes.
dependent on the part.
Very good. Very good. Next, Sanskriti. Sixth.
Ma'am, I just joined, so I have no idea exactly what are we doing.
Okay. 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 Fine.
Ma'am, 6 is a simple sentence.
Yes, it's a simple sentence. Very good. Next, Angel. 7.
Ma'am, 7th is also a simple sentence. The students solved the questions easily.
Okay, very good. Then 8.
मैं ही बोलूं मैम.
हाँ,
He is not harmful. Again, a simple sentence.
again a simple sentence. And what if semantically you had to answer this? Semantic differentiation में किसमें आ जाता?
Assertive.
Negative
Negative
sentence.
sentence.
Negatives. Yes. Not आ गया ना negation.
Okay, sorry.
Yes.
Okay, ma'am.
ठीक है. Very good answer. Okay. Next, money. Ninth.
Yes, sir. Ma'am, would it be simple?
No.
Then it would be compound, I guess,
Why compound?
because I am sure that you will learn these sentences. So I am sure would be independent that you will learn these sentences would be.
That को हटाओ. You will learn these sentences. Is it an independent
Then it would
clause?
both be two independent clauses. Yes, ma'am.
So
So
this
it will
is
be
a
complex.
complex sentence. Yes.
Okay.
You have two independent clauses coming in together. Yes. And that is behaving as a coordinating conjunction. This is a complex sentence. All right. Ashna, 10.
Nobody goes where demons live forever.
तुम्हारी आवाज ऑडिबल नहीं है बेटा.
I think it's a compound sentence.
Okay. Why?
No, I think it's simple.
सोचो.
Ma'am, is it complex? Because no, I think it's compound only and it's not complex.
क्यों नहीं हो सकता complex?
Ma'am, because nobody goes doesn't make sense individually, and demons live forever. Like demons live forever makes sense independently, and nobody goes doesn't. So it's compound.
Okay. So if it's compound, तो जो हमारा addition है, वो demons live forever के आगे क्यों लग रहा है?
What, ma'am?
जो हमारा coordinating conjunction है, yes, वो तो
Yes.
subordinating clause के साथ में आना चाहिए.
Hmm.
Why is it coming before where demons live forever? If we look at compound sentences, or if you ever look at subordinating clauses, does it ever happen that your coordinating conjunctions are after the entire sentence, or are they usually before?
They're usually before.
Yes. This is a complex sentence. Why? If I say, let's say, here she goes. I said, here she goes. Does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am.
It
Yes,
does,
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
right? It's not sounding weird. Here, of course, there was no reference, but then nobody goes. If supposedly you're watching a play and the mother is sitting at the, I'm just giving you a scene, a mother is sitting at the dining table and she declares, nobody goes. Will you consider it an independent sentence?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes.
इस टाइप के sentences क्या होते हैं? If you people remember and if you people attended the classes of non-finites, yes, we were talking about non-finites are what? Non-finite verbs are those which do not require an object to make sense. But then there are sentences like that. For example, if I say birds fly, that sentence in itself is making sense. It is a sentence. You are not going to say that it's not a sentence because it has a subject, it has a verb, it has subject verb agreement going on, so it classifies as a clause. But then it does not necessarily require an object to make sense. Yes? So here, two independent clauses are coming in together. That is why this qualifies as a complex sentence. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
We move on to the next one. Yes. Himani, 11th.
Yes, ma'am. She's young, but she has white hair. Ma'am, it's a complex sentence. It has two independent clause.
Yes. She is young, but she has white hair. She has white hair being again and it talks. Very good. Next. Astat has also joined in late today. Angel, 12th.
Deer can run very fast, for they are very active and have nimble feet. Mm, Ma'am, it's a compound sentence because your one is independent sentence and another one is dependent.
Which is the dependent one?
Deer can run very fast because they have nimble feet.
ये तो तुम नया सेंटेंस बना रही हो. इस सेंटेंस मुझे बताओ.
Have a nimble feet.
So there are two sentences here. Deer can run very fast. ठीक? अब थोड़ी देर के लिए for को हटा दो. Look at, they are very active and have nimble feet.
Ma'am, it's compound.
Is this an independent clause or a dependent clause?
Independent. ma'am.
Angel,
Yes, ma'am, it's independent.
तो फिर क्या होगा?
Compound sentence.
Complex.
Complex. yes.
Complex.
Compound में आता है subordinating clause. Complex में आते हैं दो independent clauses together. ठीक?
Okay, ma'am.
आया समझ में?
Yeah.
Deer can run very fast can also be said independently. They are very active and have nimble feet can also be said independently. And that is why this qualifies as a complex sentence. Clear हुआ?
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, fine. Ashna, back to you. 13.
He lost everything that was unbearable. Is it a compound sentence?
Very good. Next.
Uh, this is the school where you have studied. A simple sentence.
This is
A simple sentence.
simple sentence. Why?
Ma'am, because there's this subject and predicate only. Sorry?
This is the school. Can it be an independent sentence?
Yes.
So ये क्या हो जाएगा?
Compound.
Compound.
Okay.
This is the
Got
school can qualify as an independent clause, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So एक main clause आ गया.
Yes, ma'am.
And where you have studied is qualifying as a subordinating clause.
Yes, ma'am.
तो क्या बन गया ये?
Compound sentence.
Compound. Are you people now able to recognize patterns?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, जरूरी नहीं है कि हम जब इंडिपेंडेंट क्लॉज की बात कर रहे हैं तो एक पूरा लंबा चौड़ा स्टेटमेंट होगा उसी को हम बोलेंगे सेंटेंस है. जैसे मैंने बोला birds fly is also a sentence. This is the school is also a sentence. Yes, so you have to focus on subject verb arrangement. Yes. Okay. Next will be Himani. 15.
Mom, 15.
Yes.
I saw a man who was old and weak. Mom, it's a compound.
Yes. I saw a man being independent who was old and weak.
He was old and weak is a independent clause, and I saw a man is a dependent clause.
I saw a man is a dependent clause.
मैम वो तो कॉम्प्लेक्स हो जाएगा ना.
या तो इसमें दोनों इंडिपेंडेंट है.
I saw a man.
मैम इट्स compound.
Compound. Who was old and weak?
मैं बहुत आ रहा independent.
Who was old and weak के आगे अगर क्वेश्चन मार्क होता तो बात अलग. Who was old and weak के आगे full stop. Can who was old and weak stand on its own as a sentence, like as a statement?
Yes, ma'am.
अच्छा, तुम लोग इंटेरोगेटिव लिख के फुल स्टॉप लगाते हो.
No, ma'am, no, sorry.
मैं क्या बोल रही हूँ? I saw a man है. ठीक है. Now, who was old and weak? Is this making any sense?
No.
No, ma'am.
क्या है?
Dependent.
Dependent. समझी हिमानी?
Yes, ma'am.
Always remember, guys, जब भी subordinating clauses हैं, dependent sentences हैं, usually you will see that the connectors will be placed before that sentence starts, not after. Yes, unless of course जो connector है उसका nature ही ऐसा हो, but usually you will see connectors हमेशा आगे आते हैं. Yes. Yes. Okay. Got it? So this will be compound. Very good. Next, I come on to money. There.
Sorry, ma'am, I just joined. There are some network issues.
No issues. No issues. Can you try 16th one for me?
16th.
Huh.
Ma'am, it would be a simple sentence.
17th.
Ma'am, it's dependent.
क्या?
Ma'am, it's complex 17.
17.
Yes, ma'am.
Complex कैसे होगा?
Ma'am, simple.
Simple sentence.
Sentence.
It's a simple sentence. ठीक है प्रियंका?
Yes,
A
ma'am.
green plant can prepare its food. A green plant being a subject can prepare its food is the predicate. One subject, one predicate.
Yes, ma'am.
Simple sentence. Yes. Next one, 18. Khushi.
Ma'am, it will be a compound sentence.
Okay, why?
Ma'am, because the mother beat the child for his disobedience. For his disobedience is a dependent clause.
Is it a clause?
No, it's a phrase. It's not a clause. So it will
So,
be. It is not a phrase.
फिर क्या होगा ये? Simple.
I don't understand.
नहीं आ रहा समझ में?
नहीं.
ठीक है, देखो, द मदर बीट द चाइल्ड, ये तो तुमने मैं मान लिया कि हाँ भाई अगर फॉर हिज डिसोबीडियंस नहीं भी लिखा होता तो भी सेंटेंस अपना मीनिंग बना रहा है. यस,
Yes.
बट व्हेन वी आर एडिंग फॉर हिज डिसोबीडियंस, क्या ये इंडिपेंडेंट क्लॉज है?
नहीं.
क्या ये डिपेंडेंट क्लॉज है? क्लॉज का डेफिनेशन क्या होता है? लेट्स गो बैक टू फ्रेजेस एंड क्लॉजेस.
Subject, verb, and object.
सब्जेक्ट वर्ब एंड ऑब्जेक्ट, करेक्ट. अब फॉर हिज डिसोबीडियंस, फॉर क्या होता है? preposition,
Conjunction.
हाँ सॉरी, conjunction,
Hmm.
his pronoun,
Pronoun. Yeah.
and disobedience, parts of speech.
Noun or adjective में confuse हो रही है. I think it's a noun. Yeah.
Noun for his disobedience. So up, is this qualifying as a clause at
No,
all?
ma'am. No.
There is no subject, there is no verb, there is no subject verb agreement going on.
Hmm.
तो ये क्या बन जाएगा?
Simple sentence.
सिंपल सेंटेंस. अब मैं बताती हूँ एक प्रॉब्लम जो सारे स्टूडेंट्स के साथ में जनरली मैंने देखी है, होती है. हम क्या करते हैं, क्योंकि हम कॉम्प्लेक्स और कंपाउंड पढ़ रहे होते हैं, so we end up locating the independent clause. The moment we read a sentence, सबने पहला ध्यान किस पे दिया कि independent clause का है इसमें. मेन बात ये नहीं है कि आपके सेंटेंस में इंडिपेंडेंट क्लॉज है कि नहीं, उसमें ऑफ कोर्स एक इंडिपेंडेंट क्लॉज होगा ही होगा. Simple sentence in its own self is an independent clause. Is it or is it not? Subject verb agreement है, एक subject है, बाकी का पूरा predicate है. तो independent clause तो ये तीनों ही हो जाएंगे. The main part is that thing which is added. What is it? Is it qualifying simply as a predicate? Why? Because it's not a clause. Is it a dependent clause or is it an independent clause? That is the main bifurcation that you have to spot. Clear, everybody?
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Okay. We come to the 19th one. Himani, one more attempt. Go ahead.
Ma'am, Shimla worked very hard, but she did not pass. Ma'am, it's a complex sentence.
Okay. Yes. Why?
Because if we remove but, we have two independent clause. She did not pass and she worked very hard.
Very good. Correct. Okay. Next. Yes, Adya?
Ma'am, that was by mistake.
Okay. चलो फिर इसी बात पे आखिरी वाला तुम करो, 20th.
He finished his home assignments and went to play. Okay. Complex. I
Okay.
guess.
Why
Compound.
complex?
He finished his home assignments is a dependent, independent, and when to play would be dependent, then yeah, compound.
Compound. Yes.
Right.
अलग से subject verb agreement यहाँ पे नहीं दिख रहा है. Of course, it's understood, and when to place, of course, we are talking about him, but then it's dependent. Yes, so compound. Now, there are two people who joined in late, Astitv and Sanskriti. Are you both present here? All you have to do is say yes, ma'am. डांट नहीं पड़ेगी. Sanskriti? Astitva? Guys, say yes or no. Because if I know that you are here, we are very quickly going to revise all the concepts. Sanskriti has texted. Yes, ma'am. Astitva? Are you there or are you not?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. तो क्या इतनी देर क्यों लग रही है yes ma'am बोलने में?
हम पहले
क्या
डर
मैम?
गए होंगे।
क्या मैम क्या बोल रहे हो?
मैं ये पूछ रही हूँ इतनी देर क्यों लग गई yes ma'am बोलने में?
मैम वाटर पी रहा था इसलिए, डरा थोड़ी ना था मैं।
अच्छा।
मैम एक्सरसाइज के डर से डर गया होगा।
हाँ।
मैम डरता नहीं हूँ, जो क्वेश्चन नहीं आता स्ट्रेट फॉरवर्ड बोलता हूँ मैं कि मुझे नहीं आता, आई डोंट नो।
हाँ ठीक है, क्या पढ़ रहे हैं हम?
मैम अभी जस्ट तो ज्वाइन किया मैम, मैं वर्कआउट करके आ रहा था इसलिए लेट हो गया था मैं।
बस ये देखो, तुम लोग वर्कआउट कर लो और यहाँ तुम्हारी मैम बैठी रह जाती है और कहीं नहीं जा पाती वर्कआउट करने। चलो बढ़िया है, सुन लिया करो, प्लग इन कर लिया करो, गाने सुनने की बजाय वर्कआउट करते करते इंग्लिश सुन लो।
नाइस आइडिया मैम।
Okay, चलो, I'll very quickly we are going to revise what we did, ठीक है, for you too. But the twist is I'm not going to teach you, your co-fellows are going to teach you. Yes. So let's start off with Angel.
Yes, ma'am.
Would you like to do the honors? क्या डिस्कस किया हमने?
Simple, complex, and compound sentences.
ठीक है, बट वो क्या है? स्टार्ट से स्टार्ट करते हैं। क्लास में आते के साथ मैंने अगर ऐसे बोल दिया सिंपल, कॉम्प्लेक्स, कंपाउंड, तो फिर
मैम starting from sentence, define sentence.
Priyanka is all set. Priyanka is going to be a professor.
No, ma'am.
See, very first thing, sentences. What are sentences?
A set of
Sentences.
words.
Yes, very good. A group of words that is making a complete sense.
Sentence.
Okay. Now
One
let's
is a
talk.
subject and second is a predict.
नहीं, तुम भी आगे बढ़ गई।
Sorry, ma'am.
सबसे important चीज, there are two bifurcations to understand what are the different types of sentences. One is a
Structure and
structure.
semantics.
Yes, very good, Abhya. Elaborate what is the structural difference and what is semantic difference.
So basically, structural would be in the sentence itself, like the sentence would be divided in terms of
You
structure. So
focus
like
on the structuring of the sentence,
structure of the
how the
sentence.
words are placed, where
Yeah,
are
right.
they placed, what are the components of a sentence.
Yes.
Yes.
And there are three types:
Yes.
simple, complex, and compound.
Simple, complex, and compound. And then we come to semantic difference. What does semantic difference mean?
Semantic sentences basically focuses on the meaning of the sentence, and based on that there are 5 types of sentences: the declarative, imperative, interrogative, exclamatory, and negative sentence.
Negative. Very good. Nice. Now moving on to Himani.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay? You will explain the structural types of sentences. What are the structural differences? Okay?
Ma'am, in simple sentences, we have one subject and a predicate.
Mhm.
In complex sentences, we have two parts of the sentence. One, both are independent clauses. And in compound sentences, we have one independent clause and one dependent clause.
Now, do they have to necessarily be just one, or can there be more?
It can be more than one.
So, see, first is a simple sentence, as Astip and Sanskruti can see. Political science is an interesting subject for me. You have one subject and the rest of it is a predicate. Next is complex sentence. What is a complex sentence? it is going to have two or more main clauses joined in together. For example, here I went to her multiple times and I was unable to meet her. These are two independent clauses that came in together in the same sentence. Okay. There could be more independent clauses joined like this. Does not matter. It will qualify as a complex sentence. Next is the compound sentence. What is happening in the compound sentence? You have one main clause necessarily. There will only be one main clause. Rest, you can have one or more subordinating clauses or dependent clauses, and that will make up for a compound sentence. Okay? So ये तीन bifurcation जो हम अभी कर रहे थे, simple है, complex है, क्या है? Okay, compound है. ये क्या था? We were discussing these structural differences between the sentences. Okay. Next, we come to semantic differences. Yes. As you can see, there are 5 statements in front of you, 5 different sentences. The first one is declaring a fact. It is stating some information. So any declaration that you make, any fact that you are stating, any sentence that you are saying, for example, honesty is the best policy, the sun rises in the east and sets in the west, Bhopal is the capital of Madhya Pradesh, Delhi is the capital of India, or any such thing. These are known as assertive sentences. Yes. Next, get me a cup of tea, please. Let's start at once. First one is a request, the other one is an order. Okay. So requests and orders, these kind of statements come in the subheading of imperative sentences. Can I help you, or like any question? Interrogative. What a tragedy, or anything that you're basically making an exclamation, they are known as exclamatory sentences. And then the last one, they don't understand our problems. Okay. Or I'll give you more examples. For example, if I say, I do not like it here. Okay. Or if I end up saying, she does not like to study English. So in these cases, what is happening? We are using the negation not. And just because we are using this particular negation, your sentence turns into negative sentence, into a negative sentence. If you people remember, school में grammar में हमें ऐसा आता था, convert the following sentences into negative sentences. आया है कभी ये question?
Yes,
में?
ma'am.
Yes. So what were we talking about? We were talking about negating a particular statement. For example, if it's written, I hate her, I can say, I do not like her. So the moment you add in not, which is a negation, your sentence turns into a negative sentence. So this is what different types of sentences are. Is the topic clear? Especially Sanskrit and Sanskriti and Astitva. फिर गायब हो गए. अस्तित्व
Yes, ma'am.
आ गया समझ में टॉपिक?
Yes, ma'am. मैम मतलब इसको अगर एक और बार रिवाइज करना है तो मतलब कैसे, मतलब एक बार बता दोगे?
अभी
क्योंकि
वापस से बताऊं?
ना वो नहीं बोल रहा मैम, मतलब जैसे आपने एक लिंक बताया था ना कि मतलब जहाँ पे आप सारे असाइनमेंट डालते हो ये सब, तो मेरे पास उस लिंक का ना एक्सेस नहीं है, तो आप मुझे बता दीजिए.
व्हाट्सएप लिंक
मतलब
नहीं है तुम्हारे पास?
नो मैम.
एक सेकंड ना.
मैम शीट्स भी नहीं है करेक्शन ऑफ सेंटेंसेस की और सबकी ड्राइव के
हाँ,
अंदर.
उसकी शीट्स मिलने वाली है. वो मैंने उसके लिए भेजी थी, फॉर्मेट के लिए. फॉर्मेट में मुझे अभी मिल गई है, तो अब मैं तुम लोगों को भेज दूंगी.
और मैम पैराजंबल की आंसर की.
हाँ, आंसर की. अच्छा, नहीं भेजी मैंने?
यस मैम, आपने बोला था
ठीक है,
लेकिन
चलो
भेजा
मैं भेज देती हूँ. आई मेड दी आंसर की. ठीक, यहाँ पे कोई लिंक पोस्ट कर दो यार. माय WhatsApp web is not in sync at the moment. And I don't have the phone.
मैम ड्राइव से.
ड्राइव से नहीं, जो अपना WhatsApp का लिंक है ना, अपने वाले ग्रुप
यस
का,
मैम.
है ना, इनफॉर्मल ग्रुप जिसमें मैं शीट्स वगैरह डालूंगी, वो
Yes,
वाले,
ma'am.
उसका लिंक इस पे शेयर कर दो.
यस मैम.
so that you can join in and others can also join in. For all those who haven't joined in that. Okay. So this is it. Types of sentences was a very short topic. It was basically to understand, okay, how to understand and spot sentence making and what is the difference between meaning and structure. So you can understand the moment you start reading sentences, structure matters a lot. Yes, इसमें सब आ जाता है. Phrases, clauses, parts of speech. How do you understand? How do you bifurcate? Okay. So that was it in this particular topic. And we are going to continue in our next class with another topic. Is that fine?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Yes? All right then. So I'm going to end the class for today. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.